Welcome back. Frank DeMora here. Today is January the 10th, 2013, bringing you connections between what the Lord had warned us concerning the last days and what we're actually seeing. And so, again, I just want to let everybody know that if you're on my YouTube channel and you're seeing the BibleProphecyMan.com, this is my old site. My new site is the End Time Research Ministry, which you see the link right here. So if you've been going to, in the past, been getting my updates, my prophecy updates, if you're at my Bible Prophecy Man site, you won't be getting those because FeedBurner closed down and they're not sending them out anymore. So please go to my new site, which you see right here in the video, and I'm going to have a link there for you as well, so that you'll be able to click that link and go right over to my new site. So let me just go right into it. First of all, from time to time I ask or I answer questions that have been asked of me. And here was one that came out today from a person by the name of Marsh. I'm not going to give the last name to protect the identity. It says, "Hi Frank, need some advice please. Everything the Bible states that is going to happen, does it have to happen in that order and after another? I'm thinking something big is on the horizon for us, and everything is being put into place now. Also, when the third temple is about to be built, will we know about it or will it be kept quiet?" Well, first of all, we know that all of the signs that the Lord had shared with us, or given to us, if you will, in Matthew chapter 24 and Luke 21 and Mark chapter 13, all of those signs are given to us for the last days. So not necessarily are we going to see each one of the signs happen in order. We just know that they're all going to be happening at the same time in one specific generation, as we see also in Matthew chapter 24, because in that chapter the Lord told us, "When you shall see all these things, know that it's near, even at the door." So not necessarily do we have to see earthquakes come one after another, and in other words, you'll see an earthquake, and then you'll see a storm, then you'll see a disease, and then in order. It doesn't have to go that way. So now in the book of Revelation, we see the plagues that are coming down. That's a different story, because we'll know each plague, and as each seal and each bowl and the vials are poured out, they have to go in sequence. In other words, when the bowls start to come, they'll be poured out. Then the other plagues will be poured out. But as far as why the church is still here before the rapture of the church, all of the things, all of the signs that we're seeing, not necessarily have to happen in order. They could all come at the exact same time, if you will. Now, concerning the third temple, I can assure you that this is one of the most contested areas in the world, Jerusalem. And ownership for the Temple Mount is premier, that everybody knows, has been coming to my site, knows that it's been stalled. The peace process has been stalled primarily over the ownership of East Jerusalem, for where the first and the second temple was. And so there's been a lot of news. When you read my book, I update all the information, the latest news about the third temple, and how there's a lot of activity, a lot of riots going on, and a lot of speculation that Israel is getting ready to build the third temple. Now, knowing what kind of tensions that this issue causes, I can assure you that when there's any news about the third temple being built, everybody on this planet is going to know about it that has either an iPod or a phone or is able to watch the news, because it will be broadcast all over the place. And you'll know about it. Not only that, but we see in the book of Revelation, obviously the Antichrist is going to be ruling during that time, but in Thessalonians, Paul warned that this Antichrist was going to walk into the temple. And he was going to do this and proclaim that he was God. And so everybody's going to see that, based on what we know from our technology and able to see one event all over the world at the same time. So it's not going to be a hidden event. Everybody will know. It's not going to be quiet. Anything but quiet, that's for sure. So let me get into some other news now, and this relates to the warning about the prophecy about drugs, pharmakeia. In Revelation 9:21, we see that Jesus speaking about drugs. Now the words magic arts in Revelation 9:21 is the Greek word pharmakeia, and from which we get our word pharmacy. That should give you an indication right away without me explaining anything. It signifies the use of medicine, no doubt, drugs, spells such as those used in witchcraft and those used today by those who are seeking a greater high. Now, this generation, by the way, most of you already know this, but this is what the Lord showed us in 9:21, that our generation was going to be labeled the drug generation. And sure enough, this world, our people, not only in the United States, but around the world, are using drugs like never before. Now, one of the things that I wanted to show you here is there is a prominent rifle manufacturer that was killed in a mystery car crash after posting a psych drug link to the school shooters that we saw recently. And it's a very, very interesting article, and he does point out all of the people who have been involved in these shootings at schools and whatnot, and he is showing, and he's gotten proof and evidence that these people who've been doing the shootings have been taking drugs. And there's some, according to the article that I was reading, it really looks speculative that let me show you right here. It really looks speculative. You see the headline right here for the Natural News. Let me show you what it says. It says, what you are about to read is astonishing. I'm not even sure what's the right conclusion to draw from it, but here's what we know so far. Nick Novotsky is one of the most celebrated battle rifle manufacturers in America. His rifles found at, and you'll see the site right here, are widely recognized as some of the finest pieces of American-made hardware ever created. I own one of his rifles, and it's a masterpiece of a machine that just keeps on running. Sadly, John Novotsky was killed in a mysterious car crash a few days ago on January 4th of 2013. And according to Outdoor Wire, his car traveled across an oncoming lane onto a dirty highway shoulder until it struck two large boulders. The vehicle rolled and Mr. Novotsky was ejected. But barely a week before his incident, now this is where it gets really interesting, John Novotsky posted a lengthy, detailed post on Facebook that listed all the school shootings tied to, here you go, this is where I make the connection, these psychotic drugs. At the end of the post, he asked what drugs would Adam Peter Zana on, and he is the one that did one of the last shootings. And in his article, you'll see that they posted mysterious death, drawing gun control debate raises questions. And according to what I'm reading here, it certainly looks like what they're saying in this article is that somebody took this guy out. Now, let me show you, according to what they're talking about, the pieces to the puzzle, which is very interesting. What he wrote, it says, beyond coincidence, pieces of the puzzle rapidly coming together. Sure, a car crash involving Nick Novotsky could be a coincidence. It could also be a coincidence that no video footage has been released from the Sandy Hook shooting. Adam Zana carried any rifle whatsoever. And then he goes on to talk about all these different, look at it. It might also be a coincidence that Dianne Feinstein just happened to have her details gun confiscated bill ready to release immediately following the Sandy Hook shooting. And it might be a total coincidence that according to the Google.com, the United Way Sandy Hook donation, listen to this, the Sandy Hook donation support page was created on December 11th of 2012. Now look at this. A full 3 days before the shooting ever took place. Now, does that, look, stop right there. And it really makes you think, what in the world is happening? Is there a conspiracy to hide what is going on, causing these people, it's not the rifles, but it's the drug companies, those that are getting rich, that are using this. And there's been a lot of information. Now, when you read the rest of this information, and then not only that, what he'll do is he'll give you a list. This is a list that was made by John Novoski's on his last Facebook page, and he lists the name of the people and what drugs they were on. And look at the list of them. All these shooters are on Prozac, all the way down. Check it out for yourself. And then you start to really wonder, what is our government really doing behind the scenes? Is there a massive cover-up about these drugs? Well, we're finding news more and more these days that it certainly looks like our government is not being honest with us. And as a matter of fact, they've already been prepared for things that are going to happen, like we see with this date here, where they set up this support page even before the shooting. Makes you wonder. But when you put drugs together, and the Lord told us that our generation would be a drug generation, we also know that our generation would be a greedy generation. Into themselves, money would be prominent. And when you put the drug companies who are making millions and millions of dollars, and then you connect them with unstable people, and just take a look what we have. It's just amazing to see the links that the Lord had warned about our generation, the drug generation, the violence that was going to be coming. And many hearts, according to Matthew chapter 24, the Lord said in the last days, the increase of violence would cause people's heart to wax cold, and that's what we have seen. So now let me go back to the site here, and you saw, please take time to read that entire article. It was very fascinating, and it really, really makes you think what is going on in the United States. Now, here's another prophecy I want to connect for you. Prophecy is the Revelation 6:6, and this is the prophecy where the Lord shows us that people are going to have to work all day long for a small amount of food. A measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny, and see that thou not hurt oil and thy wine. So, if you know the teachings, if you know what Jesus was talking about, people worked all day long for denaries. And this is actually showing us that during the tribulation period, because you can see this is scriptures for the Revelation, that people are going to be facing massive hungers, and there's a lot of reasons why the food sources are going to be taken out. I showed you some yesterday about the sun, and of course there's other problems that will be coming during the tribulation period that are going to max out. Now take a look at this. Here's an article of 5-inch killer slugs invading Great Britain. I think I have it right here for you. There's the headline. This just came out as of yesterday, the 9th. But take a look at these things. These things are 5 inches long, and they're wiping out the gardens in Great Britain. And they're laying eggs like you cannot believe. This is what the article is telling us. And so if that's the case, what happens? Well, when you get that many and you get millions of these eggs, look at the size of these things, and they're not just eating up the crops, they're eating, you think of slugs eating vegetation, but according to the article, these slugs are not just killing the vegetation, but they're killing and they're eating dead animals, which is, to me, is very unusual. And it says, and then I noticed that it wasn't just the plants that were being attacked by these species. They were actually eating things like dead animals. There was an instance of a mouse that was killed by a cat. Slugs were swarming all over it and eating it. They were also eating other slugs, eating snails, even eating shells. He said that millions of eggs and baby killer slugs were buried under leaves, waiting until the spring to emerge. So this is just one of many articles that shows us some of the different reasons why the food is being taken out. Now you have a massive amount of these slugs combined with the rest of the insects that have been killing off crops. And also get ready for the summer. You're going to hear more about the locusts that are going to be coming and eating up more of the crops. And when you put together the crazy weather that we're having, along with these pestilence from these insects and these bugs that we're seeing eating up everything, you'll see that the price of food, when the food is devastated, the price of food goes up. It's a demand. If the demand is out there for food, which obviously it is, and you have less food, the price goes up. And this is where I'm trying to warn you about things that are going to be happening in the near future. We're already starting to see some of these things. Now, here is another prophecy. There's 3 of them here, and it talks about the animals, the fish, and the birds dying off in the last days. Now, I just wanted to show you very briefly, there was another headline today. Cold in China kills about 180,000 cattle, threatens power. So here we have another one of those incidences where we see massive amounts of animals that are killed off. Now what I'd like to do is go over. Alright, we're here at my other site, and you'll see here this is a complete list of birds, fish, and animals dying from 2009 to 2013. Today it took me a long time to update all this information, but what I want you to see is a complete list starting from 2009. And what I've done is I've given you scriptures here, and starting on November the 6th is when I started to do this. I give you all the information. You can click the links and you can go right there all the way down. Now bear with me as I scroll down, because this is all the information that I've gotten since 2009, 10, 11, 12. And let me just show you now, as I go pretty fast for time's sake, I'm going to scroll down to what's going on in 2013. So far since the new year, since we're already into the new year, and it's January the 10th. So let me, bear with me, you'll see, there we are. 2013, look at this, 150,000 fish found dead. Of course, this was in China. Fish kill, again in Australia. Hundreds of buffaloes, cows, goats die in serious disease with 150 million. Click these links, they'll take you right to all the articles. Mass fish killing, several thousands of fish dead, massive fish killing, hundreds of ducks die suddenly, turtles washed ashore, mass fish kill again. You'll see this one is in Florida. I mean, it goes on and on and on. Sardines, sharks, sheep, cattle. The bird flu, 284,000 birds. Look at this, in Mexico, January 10th. And here's that one that I just put up today, 180,000 cattle. So there's definitely action going on with this word from the Lord. We're seeing it happen. And that's not all. When you take a look today, there's other news. 2 women hospitalized with the swine flu. I'll have the link there for you at my site when you get there. So just click that and you'll be able to get that as well. And then 18 H3N2 deaths in Pennsylvania. We're seeing massive amounts of flu. I reported about this yesterday, and it is spreading. It's worse than we've seen it and very, very long time. And of course, I believe that it's part of the birth pangs. All of these things seem to be coming at the same time at us, and they're coming a lot quicker. So just pay attention to what's going on around you. These are all signs from the Lord. He told us about the pestilence. He told us that the animals were going to be dying. There was going to be disease, fish and birds all coming out, finding in the news that that's exactly what's taking place. And I'm just hoping that you'll understand as we go into the future, the more of these animals, birds and fish that you see dying, please do one thing for me. Keep notice of the cost of living, the cost of food, and how it's going to go up. As the more cattle are killed, the more birds, fowl that we eat, chickens and whatnot, animals, beef, as the more of these animals and these livestock are killed off, that means there's going to be less food and the price will be going up. It's a warning from the Lord. By the time that this generation enters into the tribulation period, they can count on working all day long just for a minimal amount of food for one person, and that's only one meal. So all I can do is point you to what the Lord said. I can't make you believe it. That's up to you. Everybody has a free will. But if you will, go to my book. And here's my newest book, January 1st, 2013. All of this documentation is in there, and it comes to you for free. Thank you, everybody. It's a good day to give your life to the Lord Jesus Christ. This is Frank Demora.